All right, welcome back to Morning Live, and right now we want to dwell with Matter Sports, and Mr. Samuel Gasharera is with us in studio. And you know what happened over the weekend? Gor Mahia dribbled past FC Leopards 3-1, and they just need a win to be the champions of the Kenyan Premier League, and that's kind of normal because now you're used to seeing Gor Mahia win this title over and over again. And good morning, Samuel.
Good morning, Nick.
Karibu sana Switch TV.
Thank you.
And once again, Gor Mahia, without doubt, they'll be champions. Now, the match against FC Leopards, yes, we saw FC Leopards coming in with a bit of a tactical arrangement, but we saw they dominated big time as far as now, that's Gor Mahia, as far as now their offensive game is concerned. But look, who else will beat Gor Mahia in this league? Okay, Zoya did it, yes, but who else will now challenge them to the title?
I think in as far as the title is concerned, there's no match for Gor Mahia, as you've put it, because you look last season, they won the game with they won the league with 6 games to spare.
Sure.
This season, we are talking about them winning the league again, but yes, not 6 games to spare, but maybe probably 2 or 1 game to spare.
Okay.
But it goes a long way to show you that this Gor Mahia side is improving every season. And I think the experience they've gathered in the CAF Confederation matches and the Champions League is really coming in handy. Like in yesterday's game against FC Leopards, you could tell that Gor Mahia's experience is showing at this level. For instance, the third goal. Yeah. You don't switch off at that particular moment. That was a bizarre moment from Salim Abdallah. And it goes to show you that this Gor Mahia side has really transformed due to the experience they've gathered.
Okay.
For instance, the second goal, Said Suma being closed in, and once Kenneth Muguna won the ball for Gor Mahia, they pressed high on the pitch, and once Kip Kurui was put clean through on goal, it was clear that he was always going to score.
Sure.
So for Leopards, I think they were second best yesterday, and you don't have to blame them. Gor were just the better team on the day, and for sure they were the superior team on that day.
All right, and I feel we'll be having those goals come in, but look at the pedigree. Of course, we thought maybe there'll be this guard of honor over the weekend, but look at how FC Leopards also played. I like to say this: at some point in the league, they were kind of at the relegation zone. But look at the inclusions of around maybe 4-3 players, and they turned around everything. They're now scary, actually. They've been beating people left and center, but still blowing hot and cold. Now, the season maybe has been kind of, a seesaw affair, but what do you think about now their progress so far?
I think under the new coach, Andre Kasambungo, he's a coach who has coached at the top level, of course, with the APR of Rwanda. Yeah. So he knows what it takes to manage a top side, because FC Leopards is a big team any other day in Kenyan football. But then again, we've always been talking about the high turnover of coaches at the Den, and that has really had a negative impact on the continuity in the FC Leopards side. I remember in 2017 when Matan was appointed head coach in a caretaker capacity, he found FC Leopards in a similar problem. Moved them away from the relegation zone and actually ended up winning the domestic cup. That was the Go TV Cup at that particular moment. But what happened after that? In the new season, Matano was sent away. So it leaves a lot to be desired from the management of FC Leopards. I think there are too many knee-jerk decisions, rash decisions that affects the playing unit. Because this season, they started with Kazavozic, who moved to Free State Stars somewhere in between the season. Tom Juma was temporarily in charge. Then came this Rwandese, Andre Mbungo. I think he's done well. So far, so good, with the kind of team that he inherited and the new signings he made mid-season. I think he's done pretty well. You can now see that this FC Leopards side is starting to get identity as a team that can play the ball around. Of course, the experienced players like David Ochieng, Paul Were, they've brought some impetus into that team, especially moving forward. My only concern with the FC Leopards is defensively. They've always had a problem, especially central defense. It's either when they play Robinson Kamura and Salim Abdallah, whether it's Oruchum and Salim Abdallah, they've not yet found a right combination that can give them clean sheets consistently.
But I think Cheche came in the experience.
No, you look at where Mbungo has deployed Cheche. He's
Okay.
deployed him in a defensive midfield position. Predominantly, Cheche has always been a centre half. So I think what he's trying to establish is that first he wants to get a stable player who can play the defensive midfield on his own.
Okay.
And I think that has been the major undoing for FC Leopards at the moment. Because like yesterday, in the derby, he played Said Suma alongside David Ochieng as two block midfielders. Now, what that does is that the two of them are immobile. And I think that is where Gor Mahia won the game. Because if you compare FC Leopards midfield, you have David Ochieng, you have Said Suma, and Waivoni Souza playing just ahead of them as the number 10. Compare that to the Gor Mahia trio of Ernest Wendo, Kenneth Muguna, and Francis Kahata. You realize that Kahata and Muguna are very mobile midfielders, and they're very intelligent. So the moment FC Leopards break with the ball, you realize that it's only Waivoni Souza who is leading the attack. And the ideal situation should be either Suma or David Ochieng should support the attack. But that was not happening. So whenever Gor Mahia was attacking, you realize that anytime Ernest Wendo wins the ball, it's now Francis Kahata and Kenneth Muguna who join the attack. And it gives them a lot of numbers moving forward. And I think that is where the game was won yesterday in that midfield.
Okay. Now, overall, the Kenyan Premier League this season, we've had so many issues. And for the first time in a very long time, teams not honoring their fixtures is something very mind-boggling. Like, I've never seen that in a very long time. NSL, National Super League, we have that a lot of times because I've seen teams, maybe some even relegated. But look at Mount Kenya United. Some teams, even you didn't expect them to maybe like have this situation of not honoring their matches. It's happening, man.
Yeah, and I think that is just the culmination of the struggles that Kenyan Premier League teams have been having over the years. And actually, we can trace this back to the exit of SuperSport from the Kenyan Premier League. You realize that ever since SuperSport left the scene, it's always not been the same in terms of funding and also the resources at club level, the financial resources. Clubs have been struggling, yes, but I think this season we've hit a new low that clubs can no longer honor fixtures and not just one walkover.
Even paying the players. Actually.
Yeah, we are talking about 3 walkovers this season. Zoya gave a walkover to FC Leopards. Then Mount Kenya gave walkovers to Gor Mahia and Mathare United. Twice, It's a new low in the Kenyan Premier League. And it just takes us back to some decisions we made some few years back. I think if you ask me, we were not ready to lose SuperSport as broadcast sponsors because they were pumping a lot of money. And since they came into our league in 2007, 2008, we've seen the Kenyan Premier League gain reputation as
even
one
other
of
players actually being scouted.
as one of the best leagues in Africa. So the exit of such a sponsor and not getting a replacement in good time has really impacted on the clubs negatively.
Media Pro, I know they beam out there, but what do you think so far? Do the players maybe get something from
good quality, good production, but at the end of the day, how do clubs benefit? And when we are talking about benefit, we are talking about financial benefit. Because you realize with a grant of almost 9 million when SuperSport was on board, alongside the title sponsors, clubs could find a way of surviving. But now the grant has been reduced by almost 60%. Clubs are now getting a mere 3 million. Now, per month, that translates to about 200,000. That is not even enough to pay for one game away. Expenses only. You've not paid your players. We're just talking about one game, traveling to Kisumu and coming back to Nairobi. So it shows you that, yes, we made decisions about expanding our league. Were we really ready for that as a country? I think the answer is no. And it has always been telling. Look at the quality of opponents. The Mount Kenya United we are talking about is a team that has been beaten has conceded 6 goals more than twice this season. So it shows you that
there's something wrong.
The quality of players in the league has also gone down. My take would be we get the number of teams reduced so that we can save the quality of players.
Back to 16?
Back to 16 or even 14.
Wow.
So that we can save the quality of players in the league. Because you realize we have a lot of teams. And that means we'll also have a lot of players in the league.
It's true that.
But are they quality players? That's the big question.
Now, politicians taking over these teams, it's been the norm. But look at Mount Kenya. Once they took over, and I'm told they were given some money for the team and they vanished with it. Is it true?
I'm not really sure about that, but yes, I think this is a debatable concept, Mudimba. For a very long time, Silvio Berlusconi was the Italian Prime Minister. He was the boss at AC Milan. So politics and football, these are things that go hand in hand. But then again, it leaves a lot to be desired when politicians are left to have a hands-on approach on the management of a team. I think ownership of a team is okay, but the day-to-day runnings and operations of a club, leave it to people who have been in football and to professionals who have been around football. I think that is where Mount Kenya went wrong, leaving the big decisions to be made by people who don't know what football is about. Because the reality at the moment is that for now, Kenyan football is not economically viable, and it's not a problem that started today. It is something that started years ago when people started leaving the stadium. The TVs now are gone, when they just given hope that Kenyan football one day would be something that could be sold as a product. But the reality at the moment is that you have to have a lot of personal goodwill to come into football, because the moment you start recouping whatever you had invested will take you long. That is the sad reality. So it doesn't matter if it's a politician who buys a team. Yes, he can have the money, but the day-to-day operations of a team need to be done by people who are passionate about local football.
Looking at the rest, we had Sofapaka, Bandari, all those teams were giving Gor Mahia a run for their money this season, but still the quality was kind of wanting. Sofapaka had a chance to close this gap, and of course they drew. Was it against Zoya?
Yes, then they lost to Gor Mahia.
To Gor Mahia again, So what do you think about the issue? Just you've mentioned Gor Mahia, so much experience, courtesy of the continental matches they've played. But when we come back home, look at K-Sharks. They've tested the waters as far as continental football is concerned. Look at, for example, Bandari maybe. They've also taken part in these matches in Tanzania and all this. They've tested the opponents. If you are maybe someone who's in the administration as far as the Kenya football is concerned, do you think Gor Mahia will continue dominating? Still, they've had their share of their problems this season. Dominance, man. They've been there for long. So who will be coming out next to give them a run for their money? What do you think?
I think you look at the corporate clubs and clubs like Sofapaka. To be honest, to compete with Gor Mahia, it starts off the pitch. And what do I mean by off the pitch? I mean the financial muscle around Gor Mahia. This is a club that enjoys an excess of 80 million in sponsorship per season. You compare with other clubs which have a budget of around 40 million, 50 million. It's difficult to compete against Gor Mahia, because while you're spending a sum of 5 million to sign 5 or 6 players, Gor Mahia is spending that amount to sign 1 player. And it's one player who makes a big difference. For instance, they got Jack Tuisenge at a fee of 4 million shillings. That was back in 2016. And who was he replacing? He was replacing the one and only Michael Olunga. So it shows you that for Gor, whenever a player leaves, they get a quality replacement, because we've seen Jack star in the CAF Confederations Cup, the Champions League, scoring against Zamalek, big games influencing like the game against Sofapaka. It was a 6-pointer for the title.
It's true.
And what did Jack do? He scored and he also gave an assist. So it's all about getting big players into your teams, because these are players, it doesn't matter if it's a foreigner or a local-based player. It's just someone who can do you the job. So financial muscle is one aspect. Number 2, we are talking about depth. And by depth, I don't mean that you get a team of 30 players.
But squad rotation, quality players.
If you can get even a squad of 24 quality players, that if I get Mudimba out, I put Samuel in, it's like for like. That is what has been happening at Gor Mahia.
Manchester City, actually. They've been doing this.
Exactly. Like just the other day when they were playing in the FA Cup final, you see them making a substitution.
Mahrez out,
Sunday.
Now you're wondering, what is this?
That's the kind of quality that Gor Mahia has had to enjoy. Like this season, for instance, in the Mashemeji derby, you couldn't even notice Dennis Oliech was not even in the match day squad. because the youngster who replaced him, Kipkurui,
Yeah.
ended up scoring
He's
2 goals.
scoring goals.
So that is what Gor Mahia is
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
They don't depend on one player. Anybody can score, and anybody who is given an opportunity to play
Okay.
actually knows that he's there for a job.
Okay.
And I think that winning mentality is something that has now become a DNA of Gor Mahia.
It's true.
That even when they go, I remember the game they won against Sony Sugar in Kisumu, 3-2. They'd actually conceded, and you thought that Gor Mahia could lose this game because Sony has been good this season. They are currently 5th on the table. They're enjoying one of their best seasons in the Kenyan Premier League.
Yeah.
But Gor being Gor actually clawed their way back into the game, and they ended up winning that game. I'll also mention the game against Bandari in Kisumu.
Yeah.
You thought that Bandari will finally get a draw against Gor Mahia, which would have been a good result because they would have slowed them down.
Yeah.
Then Tuisenge, in the last minute of the game,
Header.
he pounced and
Yeah,
scored.
it's true that. Yeah, it's
So
true that.
that's the quality that we are talking about. So for Bandari and Sofapaka, I know they have sponsors, and Kaleko is always somebody who wants to bring in money into his team because he knows that in 2009, because of the financial muscle he enjoyed, he could attract good players, and he ended up winning the league.
Yeah.
Same to Bandari. They've had a very good support from their management. Actually, the MD is always around the football team.
Yeah.
I think they have formed a good group.
Okay.
And the history of this league, if you look at Gor Mahia, before they won their first title in 18 years, that was in 2013 under Bobby Williamson.
Yeah.
They had flattered to deceive. You thought that Gor could win the title. Finished second with Zico in 2010 when Ulinzi won the title. In 2011 when Tusker won the title, Gor Mahia were in the top 3. So it is something that they always moved closer and closer from the dream team that James Yanga formed in 2008.
Yeah.
And he said that in 5 years' time, this Gor Mahia will start dominating Kenyan football. And that is what has happened. So for Bandari, I think they're on the right track. Last season, finished second. This season, they look like they'll finish second or third.
Yeah.
So next year, with the right investment and maintaining the core of the team that has grown together.
Molala is still there?
Yeah, Molala is still there.
Yeah, sure.
If they can maintain that core of the team and maybe bring in 1 or 2, 3 quality players, I think Bandari will be a team to watch next season.
Look at NSL. Wazito, Ushuru, they've been dominating big time. But one surprising team called Kisumu All Stars. Who are these people, man?
It's a humble team from the county of Kisumu. And what I like about this team is that they've been going about their business quietly.
Yeah.
And their coach is a legend in Kenyan football. Francis Kilo Odur played for FC Leopards, the national team. And he's one man that I really admire. And for people who don't know about his coaching pedigree, when Wazito was promoted to the Kenyan Premier League, that is in 2017, they actually went on a 12-match unbeaten run.
Sure.
Because Wazito, for a very long time, they were just going about their business quietly. People were talking about the Ushurus, the Nzoias, the Vihigas, but Wazito just won 10 games, and there they were, automatic promotion. I remember their last game at the Narok Stadium, hitting Police for 5. So he's somebody who knows what it takes to win promotion in the National Super League because he was our owner's assistant at that time. And that is what he's taken to that Kisumu side. At home, at the Moi Stadium, these boys mean business. It's only Wazito who beat them, but funny enough, Kisumu went ahead to get the 3 points because Wazito fielded an ineligible player.
Now, looking at the investments as we're ending up, Wazito is actually kind of scary also as far as now the owner, the investors concerned. Of course, new bus, they kind of have that PR perspective. What do you think about now the progress? Because now as it is, maybe the yes must be coming back to the Kenyan Premier League.
It reminds me of the Sofapaka of 2009. And Kalekwa. He came with the same vigor that Rico has brought into this Wazito side. And what I like about the guy is that he's somebody who is passionate about Kenyan football. And he's been quoted in some quarters, I mean, why are you investing such crazy money in Kenyan football? But he says he knows about the challenges of the game locally, and he knew what he was getting himself into. And I think that is something very important. Because the question is, yes, you have the finances, but is it sustainable?
Sustainability, actually, very important.
So far, so good. Top of the table, hitting people left, right, and center.
Everywhere.
Quality players are within their ranks.
True that.
I think they're set for promotion. The big question is, will they go down as fast as they came up, just like last season?
2017, they really came back to NSL very fast. Thank you so much, Samuel, for coming. Really appreciate your sentiments, and let's hope maybe next season at least Gor Mahia will have competition, man.
For sure.
All right, that's all I had for you right here in Morning Live. My name is Nick Mundimba. Joyce Omondi Higgins coming up next with Full Circle. Stay tuned.